What's up, everybody? My name is Charlotte, also known as Every Stitch Counts, and today we're getting up to some stuff. It's Saturday and I'm taking full advantage. I got a whole bunch of sculpting to do for my next stitch marker and shop drop. I also am gonna make my way down to kind of south-ish Seattle to pick up some fabric. If you were following along at all for my red dress saga, which I documented via my shorts videos, then you would know that I met and kind of befriended the seamstress down the street. She basically helped me find the confidence within to alter a red dress that I had made with my mom like almost 4 years ago at this point. I did that, I took it back, I had a great experience, and now she's gonna teach me how to sew. Her only instructions were go buy fabric and we'll just make the pattern. Don't even worry about buying a pattern. So I'm gonna go buy some fabric. I've kind of looked around a little bit at the fabric shop on Bainbridge Island, but I didn't really find anything that I really wanted to use. So I'm checking out a new place that comes highly recommended by the local Seattleites that I have met and spoken to about this. But we're gonna go do that. Might get some brunch beforehand with my sister, check out a new spot. And then, you know, we're gonna basically just spend the rest of the day watching Friends and rom-coms and sculpting for my shop drop, so it should be a good time. Once again, thank you so much for watching and for being here. I'm so happy that you're here and can't wait to spend this Saturday just diving headfirst into all of my many hobbies. It's gonna be a great day, so let's go. I'm very overwhelmed. This was truly such an overwhelming experience. The only instructions that the seamstress gave me was not to pick anything that had a print to it, and then not to get anything that had stretch or texture to it. I think she wanted me just to pick like a plain fabric, and I was fine with that because truly I could have just looked at these for hours and never made a decision. But I ended up kind of gravitating towards solid colors, and I liked this stuff, but it was too flimsy. I ended up picking one of these. These were just fabrics that were 100% cotton, had enough structure, and they had a really wide range of colors, which I liked, and ended up going with kind of this avocado green shade that you see her cutting here. I ended up getting 4 yards of this, which I think is more than enough for kind of whatever we would end up making, but it's very similar to the linen that I used for my red dress to begin with. So the fabric has been acquired. I really had no idea what to get, so I settled on this 100% cotton. Honestly has a similar feel to like linen to me. It's got a little bit of structure, but it'll be nice and airy and summery and breathable, and I got it in this like avocado green kind of color. I got 45 wide, 4 yards of that. Definitely enough to make a skirt, but we'll see what she says. I really have no idea what she's like thinking or what we're gonna make. She was just like, you're gonna make the pattern. So I'm assuming once she sees the fabric, we'll just like take my measurements and then start cutting and sewing stuff together. I'm really excited. I like can't wait. I'm very excited. So I'm gonna head home now and get working on some other stuff. I have quite a bit of sculpting that I want to get done today, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to see her this week. I'll probably not be able to go see her until like next Sunday. So I'm just gonna like put the fabric aside and let her know that I got it, and then we'll find a time to end up, you know, going in and actually putting something together. I'm just gonna spend the rest of the day sculpting, getting like my groove on with that, maybe get some knitting done. I've gotten a lot of my projects with knitting done. I currently only have 2 going. One is a long-term project that I just work on in between other projects at this point, and then my Lucrezia, which I've barely started, to be honest, but I'm really enjoying not having a ton of projects going and just working on my stitch marker drop and kind of having a break of not having a ton of stuff going on. Plus, like, getting into the sewing stuff officially finally, I can see myself really like going in deep with that. There were so many fabrics in this store that I was like, oh, I could see so clearly like the kind of clothing that I would make out of that, or that would be cool in that. And I just don't have the skills yet. And so I'm really excited to develop that skill and have something that is a little bit more like immediate sense of gratification. You know, knitting is my passion. I love it. I love knit fabrics. I love the process of knitting, but it takes a lot of time. It takes a long time to get to the point where you have a thing to wear. With making clothes on the sewing machine, I think it'll happen way faster. You know, I'll be able to make a skirt in a day and be able to wear it and like get that satisfaction. So all good stuff, but I'm gonna head home now and catch you in a few minutes when I start sculpting some orders. Well, not orders, sculpting stuff for my drop. Sculpting stuff for the future. So I just got back. Me and the little munchkin here are gonna just have a relaxing afternoon. I'm gonna start setting up for my sculpting. I basically wrote down everything that I'm gonna sculpt. I've already gotten through a lot of these flowers, and I think I actually want to get through the frogs first, just because I know that I have that like sculpting design kind of down pat, and I want to get it over with, and I want to get through it so I can focus on the bees. Not sure how many sets of the frogs I'm gonna do. I think I wrote down I'm just gonna do 5 to see kind of where that puts me, since they've been out and released for a while. Not sure how many like are gonna sell, given that people have already been buying them. So I think I'm gonna start with some frogs, get those done, and then if I have time, I will start with some bees, which will be a lot of fun. Also, I definitely did not formally introduce the newest character of my apartment, which is this amazing rug. I just had to talk about this for a second because I've always been a bit of a thrifty gal, and I found this rug on Facebook Marketplace, completely brand new, never had been used. It definitely was significantly cheaper than what it would have been had I bought it new from the store. The lady was so nice. She bought it for her house and then opened it up and was like, that's actually not the vibe for me. And I was like, wow, well, your mistaken purchase is my success, because I'm pretty sure that this is the rug of my dreams. It's what I've been searching for ever since I moved back to Seattle. I'm very much a slow purchaser of things. It takes me a long time to commit to something like home decor for some reason, but when I see it, I know that like she's the one, he's the one I've been waiting for, and this rug continued to prove that fact to me. Like, I saw it on Marketplace and I just thought, it feels good to be home. It feels really good. It feels really good to be home finally. So I don't know that it's everyone's taste, but I freaking love it, and I think it really completes the space, if I do say so myself. Actually need to mix some more green because I'm making phone charms as well, so that's going to take up significantly more clay than what I typically use for my stitch markers. So that's kind of what I have to start with. It's funny to me, I need to get a bit more organized with like what clay I buy, because I've truly kind of just been haphazardly buying clay. I feel not like set on kind of the aesthetic of colors and the base colors that I should have. Obviously white is always gonna be part of the equation, but beyond that, I just mix all of my own colors for the most part. So hopefully the consistency is okay for everybody. But I feel like mixing the colors is kind of like the equivalent of choosing the yarn that you use for a project. I find it really fun to mix and mix and mix until you get the color that you really want, and that is like living in your brain, you know? One of the things that I like to do is make sure that I'm keeping a reference design in my kit so that I can always be like referring back to what I want them to look like and what the color should be. If I remember, I'm pretty sure this green that I had, I put a small bit of yellow in it just to warm up the green a little bit, since this base green is really cool toned. All right, let's go mix this puppy up. I think we're getting close on the color. I really try my hardest to make sure everything is like as consistent as possible. And I think color is by far the biggest thing. Some things though, you know, it's really interesting because like I feel my design of the frog has changed even from when I released it, which part of me feels bad about that because like the design slightly changed. But then when I made the frog originally, I loved how he looked, and I thought, yes, like this is it, this is the design. And then it was kind of an accident that I ended up making him with like slightly bigger eyes, and I loved how that looked. And now I'm like, oh, I hope that people understand that like this is kind of just, I feel like part of the design process. And this is also another reason why I'm happy I'm going to be doing the drop design now, because I feel like if I make a mistake, or I don't know, I decide halfway through that I need to change something about the design, like I'll have the creative freedom to do that before I send them to people. Whereas when I'm making them to order, I don't know, I feel like that was just kind of a difficult thing to manage. But Fred the Frog, he will stay the same, I think, at this point. I'm really happy with how he looks. I would say that's a pretty perfect match, in my opinion. So we're gonna now get sculpting. I'd like to get all of the eyes and the bodies cut and weighed first, and then I add the details on like the little arms later. That took so much longer than I thought it was going to take. Oh my god, it's almost 4:30. It is 4:30, and I've just sculpted all of the frogs that I'm going to do for this drop, which was really, it was fun to do that many, you know, all in one sitting. I got through it all in about 2.5 hours, I think. My back is like kind of killing me from standing and doing all that, so I definitely need food and to just take a break from that. Maybe go to the gym, get outside, you know, just normal life stuff. And then, I don't know, depending on how I'm feeling this evening, I'll do the lily pads because they're a bit easier to get through. I'm not so much sculpting as I am like cutting and shaping with molds and then shading, so it's a bit more mindless to get through. It's so hot in here right now, and we're going through another Seattle heat wave, so I'm just dying a little bit. But the first order of business is food. You might be wondering why I'm still wearing this hat. It's the only hat that I own, and my hair has not been washed, and I put this hat on this morning, so we're committed at this point. Okay, I just got back from the gym and kind of taking my little break. I always underestimate how long things are gonna take. It is almost 7:30 at night. So I think I'm going to wrap up like filming this evening and try to get the rest of the lily pads sculpted and finished tonight. I should be able just to do that a bit more mindlessly. I got a lot done though. I worked on the flowers a bit yesterday, but I got through all of the frogs, which took the most amount of time, so I think getting through the lily pads will be a bit quicker, though I do have to shade them, so I don't know how long it'll take. But I made 12 little frogs, and then I have 5 of the new Fred the Frog like phone charms. I don't know how those are gonna do because they're a new item and it's not like people have really asked for them other than like 1 or 2. So we'll see how those do, and if people really like them, then I will make more for the next drop. But after the lily pads are done, I just have to do the bees and the beehives, and then I'm like good to go. If I'm feeling up to it, I might throw in some lemons too, but TBD on how much of that I actually get through. And hopefully by the next time we see each other, I will be blazing and like we'll be pretty much done and ready to go in that department. I'm gonna sign off for now and finish sculpting those, maybe get some knitting time done. I need to shower and like compose myself. But thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate it. I hope that you're getting to do all the things that you want to do and make all the things that you want to make. Keep it classy as always, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm looking forward so much to a lot of the things that I have going and in the works. So much appreciated, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.